The streets of Gaza are alive tonight, not with the deafening roar of rockets or the terrifying rumble of airstrikes, but with the joyous sounds of celebration. As the sun sets on this war-torn land, a fragile ceasefire agreement brings a tentative peace, and with it, a wave of relief washes over its weary residents. Children, their faces etched with days of fear and uncertainty, now erupt in laughter, their small hands waving Palestinian flags. The remnants of conflict surround them, buildings reduced to rubble, streets scarred with the wounds of war, a stark reminder of the violence that gripped their lives just hours ago. Yet in this moment, hope pierces through the darkness. The air, thick with the smell of smoke and debris, now carries the sweet scent of burning incense as families gather, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of candlelight. Despite the joyous scenes, the scars of conflict run deep. The ceasefire, brokered by international mediators, is a welcome reprieve, but the memory of lost loved ones and the haunting echoes of violence linger. The celebrations are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a testament to the enduring hope for a brighter future, a future free from the cycle of violence that has plagued this land for generations. The road ahead is uncertain, but for tonight at least, there is a flicker of hope in the eyes of Gaza. The ceasefire, agreed upon by both Israeli and Palestinian authorities, marks a pause in the fighting that has gripped the region for weeks. While the exact terms of the agreement remain undisclosed, sources suggest a mutual cessation of hostilities. This includes a halt to rocket fire from Gaza into Israeli territory, and an end to Israeli airstrikes and ground operations in Gaza. The agreement, brokered after intense diplomatic efforts by regional and international actors, is a desperate attempt to quell the violence and prevent further bloodshed. While it signals a step back from the brink, history paints a sobering picture. Previous ceasefires have been broken, shattering hopes for lasting peace. This ceasefire is fragile, a delicate thread holding back the potential for renewed conflict. Its success hinges not only on the commitment of the parties involved, but also on the sustained engagement of the international community to address the root causes of the conflict. The recent escalation of violence is the latest chapter in a decades-long conflict. Tensions, simmering beneath the surface, erupted weeks ago, fueled by a complex web of long-standing grievances, recent events, and underlying political tensions. While it's impossible to pinpoint a single trigger, a series of events contributed to the rapid deterioration of the situation. Increased settler violence in the West Bank, clashes between Palestinian protesters and Israeli security forces at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, and the ongoing expansion of Israeli settlements in the occupied territories created a tinderbox atmosphere. The situation escalated dramatically, with a barrage of rocket fire from Gaza into Israel, followed swiftly by retaliatory airstrikes from the Israeli Defense Forces. The ensuing conflict has resulted in a devastating loss of life and widespread destruction. Hundreds of Palestinian civilians, including women and children, have been killed in Israeli airstrikes, while rocket fire from Gaza has claimed the lives of Israeli civilians. The human cost of this conflict is immeasurable, leaving behind a trail of grief, trauma, and displacement. International response and a call for lasting peace. The international community has responded to the crisis with a mixture of condemnation and calls for restraint. The United Nations Security Council, after days of deadlock, finally issued a statement calling for an immediate ceasefire and urging both sides to de-escalate the situation. The United States, a staunch ally of Israel, has faced criticism for its initial reluctance to publicly call for a ceasefire. However, the Biden administration has since intensified diplomatic efforts, engaging with regional partners to broker a truce. The European Union has also called for an end to the violence, emphasizing the need for a negotiated two-state solution. The ceasefire is a positive development, but it is only the first step on a long and arduous road to peace. The underlying issues that have fueled this conflict for decades remain unresolved. The international community must seize this opportunity to push for a just and lasting solution, one that addresses the legitimate aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians. Beyond the headlines, a plea for understanding. The conflict in Israel and Palestine is often reduced to headlines, failing to capture the human toll. Behind the headlines are real people whose lives have been irrevocably altered. Families on both sides mourn the loss of loved ones. Children grow up under the shadow of violence. It is time to move beyond the blame game. We must demand better from our leaders, urging them to pursue dialogue and diplomacy. Let us choose hope over despair, empathy over indifference. The path to peace may be long and difficult, but it is a journey we must take together.
Cheese!
Abraçando! Abraçando!
Aç aşağıya sonra.